Hello, hello, hello. You're listening to this because you are so happy in your relationship and you're contented and you feel really heard and seen. Or perhaps you're listening because it could be quite the opposite. Are you in a relationship where you've reached a point where you're just fighting, you're arguing, you're hitting up against each other, or perhaps you're not even doing that? Perhaps there's silence. Or one of you wants to fight and one of you retreats and disappears, perhaps for a day, a week, a month. Look, wherever you are at, this video could be really, really helpful because I see relationships as an opportunity for growth, but also an opportunity to learn a few skills. So let's take it back a step. If I was interested in learning how to do an engine up in a car, or I was learning how to fix the pipes in my kitchen, I'd have to learn about it, wouldn't I? I would have to get some skills, and I would go to someone who can perhaps teach me or listen to videos on YouTube, but I would start to educate myself, research, and start to learn how, because I've got a need to do that. I actually don't have a need to do that, but I'm using that as an example, is to be able to see your relationship with a different lens, to look at it in a different way, and to look at it as, okay, I want a healthy, happy relationship. And at the moment, I'm not happy in my relationship. So, do you need to learn a few skills? And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to equip you with 3 skills that you can begin using straight away. I use it in my sessions with clients. And those who want to make an effort, those who choose to make an effort and then actually action it, they start little by little seeing results. Because happiness, you're not going to feel happiness all the time, are you? It's ebbs and flows. But when you make a personal decision in yourself that you want to improve the quality of your relationship so that you do feel more contented and more happy, then this is the right place to be listening to that. So like I say, it's skills. It's not because you're not emotionally intelligent. It's not because you had a horrific childhood and you totally shut down. It's not because you perhaps just don't get this or you're not skilled. Look, it's not any of that. It's learning a skill set and then dependent on, yes, what you have lived as to what you need to do to improve those skills. So the first skill that is crucial, and I say that word too often, so I need to stop saying it. Something that is really, really important to create a happy, healthy relationship. And I yak on it constantly. So go back to my previous videos, is emotional regulation. Now, what do I mean by emotional regulation? It's to be able to inhabit yourself and understand your emotions. Do you sometimes get really angry? And then later on, in the quietness of it all, you look back and go, what the hell was that? I got no idea why I get so angry. Another way to put it, do you go from 0 to 10 really, really quickly? Do you can be fine, and then the next minute your partner will say something and it's like they've got inside your insides and they're just tossing them around? That's your responsibility to begin to emotionally regulate. And it's learning how to respond rather than react. And emotionally regulate, I can do a whole podcast. In fact, I could do a whole day's discussion around what emotionally regulating is. Being able to regulate your emotions is going to support you in your relationship. So go back to previous videos. I talk about emotional regulation, but that is very, very important, that if your partner says something or does something, in that moment, you can take a deep breath and release it out. And even if you need to take a step or go into another room or learn how to take time out, look, there's a whole heap of skills connected to this. But the first skill set is the actual want and the understanding that emotional regulation in an intimate relationship is absolutely crucial. And if you can emotionally regulate, meaning you come from responding instead of reacting, that will make such a difference to the quality of your relationship. So breathing, pausing, learning how to take time out is a really, really great place to start. My number 2 for a happy relationship is safe communication. So what does that mean? Safe communication is that you're in your relationship and you are able to be authentic. You are able to speak your truth and be honest. You know that your partner holds the container for you to say, feel, cry, explore what's going on. And they're not going to try and fix it. They're just going to hold that space for you. And that's both for man and woman to do that. Men, this is a new skill set for you, is you don't want to be vulnerable a lot of the time. You don't want to share your inner world. But I've worked with enough women to know that that's what they want. They actually want to know about your inner world. They want to know how you tick. They want to know when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling vulnerable, when you're feeling shame, when you're feeling resentful, whatever you are feeling. You're in an intimate relationship. It's like no other relationship, your intimate relationship. It is intimacy, into me, see. So how are you meant to share your inner world if you don't even share it with yourself and stop long enough to visit, to go within and connect inwardly with yourself? So safe communication is where the two of you create rituals and times where you are able to explore what is internally going on for you, deep, deep inside. Not who vacuumed, who's doing the kids, what's for dinner, what are we doing next weekend. Being able to go much deeper than that. That is how relationships last. That's how they go long term. And just start wherever you are at. Look, these couples that put aside time every day for a little check-in, 10 minutes a day, how you going? What's happening for you? And try and go to those places that perhaps you don't want to share with your partner. Which leads me into the third one, which is emotional intimacy. If you are wanting a really strong, committed physical relationship with sex and lovemaking and the passion that comes with that, you have to have emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy for women has to come first. And if women feel emotionally safe, if they feel seen, if they feel heard, they can then allow you to enter them literally. And that space can only come along in a very mature, connected, committed relationship. Emotional intimacy is the source of a deep relationship that can go the distance. And men, for you, you need to be seen, you need to be heard, you need to be understood. And it's for you to be able to share in a vocabulary, in a language that your woman gets. And this is a skill. This is, I go back to earlier, being a plumber. If I had to learn that, I would have to receive that in a language that I understood. So it's for both of you to find your way to be able to create that emotional intimacy slowly, gently, without agenda, without time management, without trying to fix each other. And when you get to that space, you will both feel it. It's a really special place as a couple to be able to, it's a dance. What's that dance? I think it's Spanish. Zumba. Zumba? No? Anyway, I know the dance. It's very exotic, and both the female, one of you might be right into dancing. So put it in the notes below. But you're both in sync emotionally. It's very much an emotional dance, and that's what being in a relationship is. It's not about the to-dos and what's on the weekend and what's for dinner. Yes, you've got to have that running well, but to create a happy relationship, which is fulfilling and feeds your soul, you need that emotional intimacy. And one of the biggest things is when conflict comes up, because it will, and if it doesn't, well, why not? If you've got walls up, masks up, there's that armour up, that's all good, everything's good. Well, if you're your own individual people, there will be conflict. But it's when there's conflict you can turn to each other instead of turn away. And, do you shut down? Do you freeze? Does one of you yell and then turn away? See, all of this is programming, conditioning, and patterns, which is not healthy, and you have to unravel those and heal them. Anyway, that's a discussion for another day. Emotional intimacy. What can you begin today? I like to finish these little segments with, what is one action step that you can do as an individual in your relationship towards either emotional regulation, safe communication, or emotional intimacy? Because it's having an awareness, it's having an acceptance of where you are right now, but then you've got to create that authentic action, because otherwise nothing's going to happen, is it? Move your arms and legs in the direction that is of value to you, and share it with your partner. That can be a really great way to move forward. But anyway, I'd love to hear what you're going to work on and what has worked for you, what's helpful. Comments below. Love to hear from you. And I will see you on next week's video. See ya.